I don't wait for others to join. The reason is it's a human psychology. I may take 1 minute to explain why I don't wait till you join. It's a human psychology. If you have a train to catch at 7 p.m. in the evening, so we know that the train won't wait for us, so we will run. We'll go at least 10-15 minutes early to the reach railway station, and we'll go to the platform and we'll wait for the train. There are some people who will wait for more than half an hour, 1 hour for the train at 7 p.m. So they will reach 6 o'clock only, 6 p.m. evening, and they'll be waiting till the train comes on the platform. The reason is, when you know that nothing or nobody is going to wait for you, nothing is going to wait for you, then you will become automatically active in life. And if I wait for you, and if I start only if everybody joins or after everybody joins, then the class won't even commence around 7 o'clock also. So that is the reason why I don't wait for others. 6 means 6, I'll start. If you join, but you will miss a few important information that can be very important during examination point of view. So this is the psychology behind why I start class exactly 6 and I will not wait for anybody. If you may have a question, if nobody joins, whom will you teach? I will teach because I will record. Automatically I will start recording, I will teach. There will be people who wanted to watch the recordings. So try to join exactly 6 o'clock. Not only for Danny, so many joined today late. 1-2 minutes also I don't wait, because I told as you are teachers, you know the psychology of students. Same thing I am also using here. It's not only for Danny, it's for everybody who joined late today.
Sorry, sir.
No problem.
I just came back from the school, that's why.
No problem, Danny. But remember, the train will never wait for you have to wait for the train.
Yes, sir.
Okay, not only Deepti, even Deepti joined late, Diksha joined late, Preeti will join after 10-15 minutes. But you remember, the early bird catches
Worm.
Right. So if you are early, then you will catch. Otherwise, okay. It's okay, fine. I don't want to waste time. I was telling you, let me just once again start. I was telling before you all joined, we started periods of English literature. Then we went to literary works. Then we discussed literary terms. Then we discussed literary figures. So we are all going to mix again all these people, all these different parts, and we are going to start a complete full-fledged reading. We completed the Old English period, we completed the Medieval English period, Anglo-Norman period, Age of Chaucer, the transition period, then came to the Renaissance or the early modern. Under that we have completed the Elizabethan period, we have completed the Jacobean period, Cavalier period, Puritan intergram. So what happened during the Puritan intergram? Connection between the Romantic period and after completion of the Puritan intergram is the Neoclassical period. It is a duration from 1660 to 1798. From 1798, publication of the lyrical ballads, the starting of the Romantic period. So in between there is a small gap which I don't want to leave it. So that's why I am taking this class also to complete the gap, to build a bridge between the Renaissance age to the Romantic age. So in that first part under the Neoclassical period, we have already completed the Restoration age, Dryden age also it is known as. And during Oliver Cromwell period in 1649, Oliver Cromwell beheaded the Charles I or the Charles I. And what happened to the Charles II? He ran away from England, he took shelter in France, or French people helped him, and then in 1660 he regained the power. He became the king of England. He is morally corrupt, degraded, he was a debaucher, whatnot he did to him and to the society of that particular age. So the Puritan spirit was not still lost in that age. So there were so many people who revolted against Charles II. And there was one more black boon in disguise or something, because of this kind of atrocitic nature or atrocities happened due to the Charles II and his followers. There was a great fire of England in 1665 and followed by plague. And in 1660 theatres were reopened by Charles II. But still the people were not adjusted to this kind of a new idea, new thought and new extravagant living and lifestyle. So there are still so many people who were in support of Puritans and Puritan ideology. The establishment of Royal Society was a landmark in the history of England. It paved way to the scientific approach, scientific development of thought in the society. The Whigs, two major political groups were there. The Whigs sought to limit the powers in the interest of the people and the parliament. The Tories supported the divine right theory of the king and strove to restrain the powers of people in the interest of hereditary rule. So like every time, everywhere in the society will be divided into two different powers or power groups or power struggle. One group, they wanted to support the parliament and the republic and the people, and another group who supported the divine rights theory and they wanted to support the king. So these were the two major political parties. And then after the Charles II, James II ascended the throne in 1685, but within 3 years he became unpopular and the whole nation rose against him, and it leads to bloodless revolution of 1668 and called the William the Protestant, or the Protestant William and Mary of Orange to the throne. So they become the king of the England. And then the spirit of the the age, it was corrupt moral laxity. People started living lavishly. People started, in the sense, living lavishly means the aristocratic people, they didn't bother about the king. He didn't bother about the problems of the middle class people or poor people. They looted people. Church was corrupt, king was corrupt, court was corrupt. Everywhere there was corrupt and moral laxity, which were predominant in the social life of restoration and reflected in the literature. So as I told you, this period was the age of corruption. So automatically the literature also got corrupted, and the people have lost eye for the nature. Writers have lost the spirit. They have not understood the soul of the human. Everything was artificial in nature. And then we have few points here. Rise of neoclassicism, imitation of the ancient masters. These writers, they looked towards Latin. They wanted to get the inspiration from the writers, but they copied, so it was a copycat. It was not their original art. Latin writers for guidance and inspiration, and then they imitated the French masters. So romanticism, all those things came into the England from the French. As Charles II was in France for so many years, he brought the French literature, he brought the French influence also. And then two more important informations: realism and formalism. Restoration literature is realistic. They try to portray the realistic society in the most realistic manner, more boring manner in the restoration age or age of Dryden. There were people who didn't like Hamlet, who couldn't understand the Midsummer Night's Dream. It was, for them, it was nothing. It was completely nonsense. So they wanted the poetry, they wanted the play, they wanted every work of art should represent or reflect the age of the society, age of that particular period, which is mostly dominated, influenced by the science, logic and reason. Realism and formalism. Restoration literature is realistic. It was very much concerned with the life in London and with the details of dress, fashions and manners. The early restoration writers, observes W.J. Long, sought to paint realistic pictures of corrupt court and society, and emphasized vices rather than virtues, and gave us courts low play without interest of moral significance. It is up to the people, it is up to us, not people, it is up to us which side you want to look at the personality. You can look at the positive side of the personality, or you can look at the negative side of the personality. If you have an eye to look at the negative side of personality, you will never find the positivity of the person. And at the same time, if you have the positive outlook, positive attitude, then you can find only the positiveness in the opposite person. It can be compared with beauty also. See, no, beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder, so it is subjective. If you like somebody, then automatically they look beautiful to you. If you dislike, they will not look beautiful to you, even though they look more attractive for others or more beautiful for others. So it is subjective. So here also, this age people, they didn't like the fantasy, the fiction, the nature. They liked the realism of the society. Then poetry of restoration age. The poetry of restoration period is very, very formal, intellectual and realistic. It has lost the charm of Elizabethan period. Then a few English literary figures of that particular age. John Dryden, already we discussed. This age is also known as John Dryden, and his famous works are Absalom and Achitophel and Medal, Flecknoe and Religo Lassie and the Hind and the Panther. This one is also important, the Hind and the Panther. And then another famous remarkable writer contemporary to John Dryden is Samuel Butler. His Hudibras is the main important work from Samuel Butler, Hudibras. And then if we discuss the prose writers of restoration, again John Dryden had written prose, John Dryden had written poetry. So he is like everywhere in this age. So that's why this age is named as Age of Dryden. So other than John Dryden, we have John Bunyan, who is famous for the Pilgrim's Progress, And there are two important diaries which I have to remember: Sir John Pepys diaries and John Elwyn's diaries. So these two diaries portrayed, picturized, showcased exactly the age, the spirit of that particular age. So this is about the restoration period or age of Dryden. So scientific temperament increased, rationalism increased, logical thinking increased. They wanted to live life according to their logic, reasoning and science. So they give most importance to logic, reasoning and scientific temperament than like Elizabethans, than fiction, imagination, all those things. So this is general introduction or general review about Restoration age. And then there are writers for comedy of manners. Comedy of manners and restoration comedy is equal. So it has like, it discusses the high class, so high society people's acts, and humor comes from the witty dialogues, repartee, but it is vulgar, obscene in nature. So that's why it was not liked by many, but people of that particular age, they appreciated this particular what you call genre of comedy. And William Congreve is also one of the writers, notable writers in that, and he had written his famous comedies are The Old Bachelor, The Double Dealer, Love for All Love and The Way of the World. The Way of the World is very important work of art, we will all remember, but in case if they give you other works of art by William Congreve, you should be in a position to remember. So William Congreve had written The Old Bachelor, The Double Dealer, Love for Love and The Way of the World. Other than William Congreve, writers of comedy of manners, George Ethegray is also one writer, and then George Farquhar is also another writer. So this is the brief introduction about the restoration period or the age of Dryden. If you have any questions you can ask me, otherwise I will continue with the Augustan age or the age of Pope or the age of Enlightenment. There are so many names for this age. If you have any questions you can ask me, and I will take a glass of water. Rani, Neeliva. Any questions? Any questions? Deepthi, Sharmila?
No, sir.
Right. Now we have, I'll go back because recapitulation over. Again I'll go back. 450 to 1066 is known as Old English period. It is impossible to understand English. The most important books of that age, the Seafarer, the Wanderer and Beowulf is an epic in Old English period. From 1066 to 1500 AD is known as Middle English period, and English became modern in that period. Chaucer, John Gower, Piers Plowman, these were the prominent literary figures of that age, Middle English. Then when we come to 1500 to 1660 is known as the Renaissance or the New Modern or Early Modern. Again this age is divided into so many parts. 1558 to 1603, the Elizabethan period, Queen Elizabeth I ruled England, and the notable literary figures of that particular age are Sir Philip Sidney, William Shakespeare, Ben Jonson, Marlowe, Francis Bacon, and that age is known as the golden age for English literature. Then from 1603 to 1625 is known as Jacobean period. James I first ruled the country, and 1625 to 1649 is the Caroline period. Charles I is the ruler, and 1649 to 1660 is the Puritan interregnum or Oliver Cromwell ruled the country or the Commonwealth period. There was no king. Oliver Cromwell was known as a Lord Protector, and during Puritan interregnum or during this Commonwealth period, John Milton was a very famous poet. And then there was a break in this period because of the Oliver Cromwell death, and then Richard Cromwell came. After that he resigned, then Charles II came. So in 1660 AD, Charles II returned to England from France. He defeated, he came again and he became the King of England. And then he opened the theatres again in 1660 in England, and it leads to, or it is the beginning of the Restoration period. Restoration means the England wants to recover from the Puritans interregnum or the Puritans age. And then what happened when theatres were opened, till that moment, till that period, all the actors in the plays, all the actors in the dramas were men. But when 1660 theatres were opened, women plays women characters. Women were also allowed to play the roles or enact on stage. And then in 1611, King James I published or translated the Bible into English. That is called James first or James I version of the Bible. It is also known as authorized version of the Bible. Then 1625 to 1649 there was a civil war or internal war. Supporters of Charles I are known as Cavaliers and supporters of the Parliament are known as Redheads. Okay, and in 1644 John Milton published a pamphlet known as Areopagitica. Then Areopagitica, it's a freedom of press, and then he had written this pamphlet to please or plead Oliver Cromwell to allow him to publish and to promote the literature. 1649 to 1660, the most important incidents are 1649 Charles I was beheaded, Puritan interregnum came, and 1660 Charles II came and theatres were again opened, women started playing roles on stage. Okay, then we have divided again the 1660 to 1785, 1798 actually, this is called neoclassical period, and this period we have subdivided into so many periods for our understanding. So there are 1660 to 1700 we call it as restoration period, and then 1700 to 1745 we call it as Augustan period, 1745 to 1785 we call it as age of sensibility, and 1785 to 1832 we call it as the romantic period. So now I am going to divide these periods for our convenience so that we can easily understand, and then we can go directly without any confusion to the romantic period. And there are some important dates you have to remember. Till this time I have written so many dates. I will be explaining you. If it's possible, you can note down somewhere all the important dates in that literature till that particular time. Okay, if possible you can note down, otherwise at least you can listen. These are the very important dates or years in English literature. 1066 the invasion of England by William the Conqueror. 1611 the authorized version of the Bible published. 1623 the first folio of Shakespeare plays was published by John Hemmings and Henry Condell. And then 1644 is the publication of Areopagitica. Then 1665 the Great Plague happened in London, half of the population died, and 1666 is the Great Fire of London. Okay, so remember these dates, they may ask these dates at any time. 1665 the Great Plague of London, 1666 the Great Fire of London, then 1644 Areopagitica was published. So remember these dates so that in case if you get, but only thing is if you want to remember these dates you should write these dates in a proper sequence or chronological order, right? So after restoration, after the restoration period, Kabir.
Yes, sir. So Great Fire and Black Death. Great Death, or what you said, sir. Was it? Was the where they took place in the same year, sir? That is 1665.
1665 the Great Plague of London.
Yes, sir.
Then 1666 the Great Fire of London, because that time who was the ruler? Charles II. He was morally corrupt, the church was corrupt, the court was corrupt, everything was corrupt. So they thought that it was the curse or it was the anger of the god shown in that way. So there was a great plague happened in London in 1665, and it was cleared, or the plague got cured, or the people got cured by fire in London. So 1665 is the Great Plague of London, 1660 is the Great Fire of London. But if you read reference books material, both these things are given on the same age. But it is 1665 the plague first came, and then the fire happened in London. 1665 plague and 1666 is the Great Fire.
Okay.
Right. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now if you try to connect the Elizabethan age, Puritan interregnum, the restoration period, then what happened? These are the stages in the life of the English people. They have seen the glory, the great life during Elizabethan period, and then they have seen the complete closure of theatres. There is no scope for the expression during Puritan interagram under Oliver Cromwell. Then during Restoration period under the Charles II, they have seen how people got corrupted and how people have lost moral values in the society. So there was still the feeling of Puritanism in the blood of English people. So they revolted against, and who came? The king of the England. Who became the king of the England during the Restoration period with the bloodless revolution? William. I told you what happened. Here you have to remember King Charles King Charles II in the 1660 he became the king, and then what happened in 1665 James II ascended the throne. Within 3 years he lost the popularity, and in 1688 the bloodless revolution made the William or the Protestant William and Mary of Orange to the throne. So they become the kings or the queens. It's the starting of Stuart dynasty. If you want me to be very particular, let me open that. It is the 1660 year of restoration is the Stuart dynasty. Okay, the great plague happened. Let me continue. What I want to tell you that though it is not very important for you in examination, KVS examination point of view, but at least you should have an idea the chronological sequence of the age. So now during restoration period, what happened? The reason, the logic, the scientific temperament grew in the society, grew in the minds of the people. So people started giving that, those people who are in that age, they started giving a lot of importance to science, logic and reasoning. So that is also known as, this age has so many different names. So broadly if we take the age of enlightenment or age of reason is from 1700 to 1798. That means from 1660, once the Charles II became the king of the England, 1660 to 1700 is known as restoration period. Within 40 years they have lost those things. They have understood that people of England are not morally corrupt, though they tried but they couldn't. So what happened next period from 1700 to 1798, we call it as a age of enlightenment. People have understood, realized, English people have, they realized that what they were actually in those days. So that is also known as the age of enlightenment, and it is also known as age of reason. So people have given importance or prominence to the reason, logic and science. So this is entirely one age, 1700 to 1798 till the Romantic period. But for our convenience, let us divide this age into so many parts. Let us understand. So this is 18th century. We are discussing about 18th century. The age of enlightenment was a philosophical movement that dominated the world of ideas in Europe in the 18th century, centered on the idea that reason is a primary source of authority and legitimacy. This movement advocated such ideals as liberty, progress, tolerance, fraternity, constitutional government and separation of church and state. Now, if you want to understand why reason is most important in the lives of us, whenever you come across any kind of confusion, whenever you are in dilemma, then you have to use your logic and reasoning to decide whether you have to do it or not to do it. Before this age, people believed on so many things, like we too believe so many things. This is not actually criticism on the present religious beliefs, but to make you to understand, like last class also what I did, to make you to understand, to feel why they felt in that way, I have to take a contemporary issue. Okay, so now one point we'll discuss and then we'll go back to the age of enlightenment. Let us see whether they are enlightened more than us or we are enlightened. Enlightenment may not come, enlightenment may not be easy, but lightning is easy. We can fire somebody, we can make it an enlightenment. Okay, so let us understand this in a easiest way. Diksha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Do you pray?
So from last few months I'm not doing, sir.
May you know the reason?
So from the day actually I had that trust that means earlier I was a worshipper of means Lord Krishna. I wished something and that did not fulfill. That's why so from there I did trust on in all these things. So
Right, good. So you prayed to Lord Krishna to give you something, and Lord Krishna what do you call it? Let me use small words, not very big words. So you prayed, you requested Lord Krishna, and Lord Krishna didn't give you that, so you lost faith in Lord Krishna. Am I right? Simple words.
yes, sir.
Right. So what did you ask Lord Krishna? I am not going to ask you, but let me tell you, is it a Krishna? Okay, sorry. I don't want to hurt the sentiments of people. I am a Hindu, so don't no need to take me wrong. So Diksha, just let us have an interaction so that let us others also understand. So do you know the historical background of Lord Krishna? Do you think Lord Krishna is a mythological figure or a historical figure?
It's a mythological figure.
So what is mythology?
Where mythology means myths, sir. That means it's not true. Somebody has means created such characters, such divine characters. That's it, sir.
Right, fine. So to make Diksha to understand and to others to understand, do you consider Gandhiji as a god?
Not at all, sir.
Okay, do you believe that after 3 to 4 generations people will also start worshipping Gandhiji as a god?
No, sir.
He will become a god. Gandhi will become a god after 3 generations. We may not be there, we may not live to find out, but after 3 generations Gandhi will become a god. Okay, now come back to your not problem, your way of thinking. You know about Dwaraka?
Dwarkadish. Yes, sir. It is in Gujarat.
So it is submerged, correct?
Yes, sir.
So that palace, Dwaraka, court or fort, all those things are submerged.
Yes,
You
I
you know
have
that?
heard. Yes, sir.
Right. You know, if you know scuba diving, you can go there and you can see the remains and all those things under water. So it is historical evident that Krishna ruled the kingdom of Dwaraka and he belongs to Yadava caste. Do you believe that?
So, if is it true? If he has such power, then why he is not here in this age, in this era? My question is that much only, sir.
I'll come step by step. No, I have to prove what is the reason. No, age of enlightenment. So my question is, the statement I gave you. Krishna was the ruler of kingdom Dwaraka and he belongs to Yadava community. Do you read history?
Yes, sir.
So do you trust history or do you trust the mythology?
I do trust history.
You do trust. You studied history, correct?
Yes, sir.
Right, fine. So if it is clear up to here, then I'll tell you, Krishna was a king like any other king who also did all those nonsense of the same thing which was done by so many kings in England and English, or wherever the kings are there. They will have so many wives, they will have so many concubines. So in the same way, Krishna also had those things and he also lived his life. And if we think like Krishna had given lot of money to some poets like Chaucer or like Shakespeare or Dryden to wrote something imaginary or to make him great in the literature, and those literatures we can call like Bhagavad Gita, Ramayana or Mahabharata, whatever the literatures written by Valmiki, Vyasa, all those things. They were also like Chaucer, they were also like Shakespeare, they were also like what do you call, no, Edmund Spencer, like they have written Fairy Queen, like they have written Canterbury Tales. So these people also written great things, hyperboles, exaggerated, all those literature, all those fantasy, imagination they have inserted into the life of Krishna, and they made him like a what do you call, a great person with lot of powers, who could see so many things, who could understand the world, all those things. Can't it happen, Diksha? Is it not possible?
Be possible, sir.
Alright, when you read that kind of stories, when I read that kind of stories, then we will believe that whatever is written in that particular literary book, whatever it may be, We believe that is right, and we believe that whatever he did was also right. But why can't we think that actually the king, whoever the king, whether it's English king or African king or American king or Indian king or a Pakistani king, kings live life like kings. Okay, so what the main purpose? They will enjoy their life. Otherwise, why do they want to become kings? So they did whatever not to do by common public, common man. They will enjoy their life. That's why every man want to become a king. Why we know all those things. So what my point is, if you just come out of the thought of like whatever you read about Krishna and what is actually original Krishna, if these two are two different people, in original Krishna is different and literary Krishna is different, historical Krishna is different and literary Krishna is different, then what will happen? You will apply your logic and reason. How do you pray to somebody who had lived the worst life, worse than a common man? How do you pray to, how do you request him? How do you get anything back? Diksha?
So actually it's just a belief which I have got from my parents, that there is someone who will listen to all your prayers, this and that. And what one thing which I have understood, sir, if I will say, if I'll tell my youngers that there is a God, if I take Harry Potter as a god, and if I'll start telling them that Harry Potter is a god, Harry Potter is a god, after few years or their generation will someday believe that yes, Harry Potter is a god. So what is it, sir? If I'll start telling the lie to somebody in a repetitive mode, it will become the truth, sir. And that is all history.
So whether you were told right belief or wrong belief, that's my question.
So wrong belief.
Right. So do you want to come out of that wrong belief?
Yes, sir. And I'm trying to coming out from this
Set of wrong beliefs?
Yes, sir.
Okay. How do you come out of the set of wrong beliefs? Okay, if you take like if I as I told you, historical Krishna is a completely, I don't want to use and I don't want to hurt the sentiments of many people. He is a debaucher, he is a womanizer. All those things are one part. That is historical Krishna. But he was glorified, he was shown in a very, very magnanimous way in the literature, because he is a king, so he might have given a lot of money to those people to praise him, to write about him in that glorious way, so that the next generations they will think the exact historical, they will forget the historical real figure and they will believe whatever is written in the literature. So the moment you understand that historical figure and the literary figure both are completely different, and Lord Krishna was a king like any other king, and he is also like a normal human being. Do you still try to pray and request, and if he doesn't respond to you, do you really feel upset?
No, sir.
You really don't feel upset, correct?
Yes, sir.
So
I won't feel.
So you come in contact with what?
Means, sir? I'm coming.
After this entire explanation, now you came in contact with something, then only you have understood. So what do you come in contact? Whether you came in contact with a fantasy or something else?
So something else means
truth.
That I won't be able to explain, sir.
I'll tell you the simplest word is, you came in contact with the rationalism, you came in contact with the truth, you came in contact with the information. Okay. Now when people come in contact with the rational mind or rationalism, when they come in contact with science, when they come in contact with the facts, the way of thinking automatically changes. Now that is called as enlightenment. Enlightenment doesn't mean that we have to sit and we have to meditate for hours together, years together, so that we'll get enlightened. Somehow we'll come in contact with some information and some person, because of that we'll get completely changed in our life. So coming back to my job here, I am not trying to generally these words I use in my classroom. So I don't want to break your foundations of thought. You are all adults, grown up. So you know what you are. I don't want to build you again here in this classroom, but in general I'm speaking, if you are build your life on false beliefs, then those are like pack of cards. One day, the other day you are going to collapse. So if you have right beliefs, then your foundation, though it may not be very big, but even 2 stones, 3 stone foundation also, it will help you to grow in life. This is general information, not related to your examination point of view. But why I started this discussion is the age of reason has led people to think all these things. Who is God? Why is there God? If at all God is there, is it he or she? Why should we worship? If we worship, what are we going to get? So all these things were challenged. The idea of church, the belief system of God, everything was challenged during this age. So let us go back. So Diksha, are you there still?
Yes, sir.
So if you want to pray, you pray. But I'll tell you, Lord Krishna was also my favorite person, though he is not God, but I like how cunning he was and how technically tactic he was, so that he can manage anybody in his life. Okay, but whether he is God or not, it is up to you. I don't want to hurt the sentiments of people here. But if we come to the age of reasoning, let me come back, not to waste much time. It happens to each and every religion. You take Christianity, Jesus Christ was a social reformer. He was not a god, but he became God, and people made him God because they were for their selfish beliefs. Prophet Muhammad was not a god, he was a preacher, he was a teacher, but people made him as a god, equivalent to God, because for their selfish reasons. These are all sentiments. I don't want to hurt anybody's sentiments. It depends upon your region, it depends upon your logic, it depends upon your maturity of understanding of world. So no more debates, no more discussions. Let us go back to the age of enlightenment. Shall I continue?
Yes.
Right. Science came to play a leading role in enlightenment, discourse and thought. So what made them people to think different other than the people who thought in the Restoration period or in Elizabethan period? It is because of the science. Somebody is okay. Science came to play a leading role in enlightenment, discourse of thought. So when science developed, when scientific temperament increased, it challenged the very idea of God, very idea about so many belief system in those days. The Enlightenment has long been hailed as a foundation of modern Western political and intellectual culture. It brought political modernization to the West. In religion, Enlightenment era commentary was a response to the preceding century of religious conflict in Europe. So there are so many people in those days, they started thinking about why to obey the doctrine of divine rights, why to accept people as their rulers just because they have come with a idea that kings were actually selected by God. It was the direct descendants of the God. So they started thinking about all those things, and science was the main platform for them to check whether their actions are right or wrong. It was a period of wisdom and scientific thought. The ability to think and reason was given importance. It is not about human emotions. It is not about how you feel. It is the facts. It is about truth. So this is about the age of enlightenment or age of reason. Now to make you to understand from 1700 to 1798, I have further divided this into two equal halves. Up to here, any questions?
No, sir.
Whether you pray to God or not, that is up to you. But if you have any questions with the age of enlightenment, you can ask me. Any questions?
No, sir.
Right. I'll tell you one thing if you don't get upset. Diksha, shall I tell you one sentence? Not to one, everybody?
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yes.
It's my personal, you may not accept it, I don't have any objection. Weak people pray, strong people steal or conquer. Okay, weaker are the one who always pray. Strong are the one either they will steal or they will conquer or they will dominate. Okay, so it's a human psychology. Because when we can't achieve so many things, then we'll think about fate and all those things. I don't want to fall into debate here. I have to complete the age of enlightenment. It is related to the topic, that's why I'm speaking all these things. Otherwise I'll not discuss all these things. But I strongly believe if we are weak, then only we pray. For example, whoever wants to say no, sorry to elaborate this discussion, whoever wants to say no, whoever doesn't agree, it is up to you. It is your opinion, your life, you live your life, no objection to anybody. But according to Age of Enlightenment, I should clarify here the point that if you want to purchase a milk, 1 liter of milk, do you pray to God to give you 1 liter of milk, or do you go to a provision store and do you purchase 1 liter of milk?
So we will purchase, sir.
You will not pray?
No, sir.
Sure? Are you sure?
Yes, sir. Because, sir, from our childhood days, a fear is means we have been terrified that, what I would say, sir, if you are doing something new, you think the negative side of that thing. From our childhood days, we have been taught that you have to think the negative side, and that negative side has made us weak, and that is why, sir, we do prayer. We never trust in ourselves. That is the biggest failure of ours, sir.
Right. But will you pray for God for 1 liter milk, or will you go and purchase?
So I'll purchase.
Deepti?
Yes, sir.
You pray to God for 1 liter milk, or will you purchase?
This is the problem with they want to.
So you pray to God and then you'll purchase. Okay, understanding.
I always pray to God. 1 hour I am praying always. Vishnu Sahasranamam and Nilada Sahasranamam I am praying. I do believe in God because after praying I got a lot of strength. It doesn't that God give you everything. Doesn't mean like He will not interfere in your life. It is us. We have to hard work to achieve what you want. We want to success. We have to hard work. It's not God. But a positivity. He is giving something else when we are praying. Maybe because of that hymns or something else, we are getting some sort of. Yeah.
I agree, ma'am. 100% agree. But my question you have not answered. For 1 liter of milk, will you pray to God, or will you go to purchase 1 liter of milk?
Sir, in my life, I never pray to God anything. Really, I never tell Him, please give me a job. Or
No,
never tell Him.
I'm
God
asking.
is not supposed to pray for all those things. We are the one. We have to. God is there to. Yes, He is there to protect us. If something in our life we feel that is there, because if we are an ardent believer, it's a false belief that God will give everything. It's a false belief because they don't know God actually. That's why they were asking to God. God is not the one. Every day I am praying to God. All my words should be yours. All my lives should be yours. And let me do all my karmas. And loga samasta sukhino bhavantu. This one I am praying always. With that hymn. This is the actual way of praying. Pray to everyone in the world. Pray to everyone because every people is made of God, and all people are God, even in they're of any religion or anyone else. Resides in them God. I believe like that. So I pray to God, Loga Samasta Sukhino Bhavante. Every day when I have to finish my prayers, I do like this. Actually, it was the way my parents taught me how to pray to God. This is the way to pray. I am praying like that. And I never ask Him anything because He is giving. I believe He is giving us. If something lost, maybe for better something, He is waiting. He is waiting us. He is telling us to wait for get something better. I hope like that. We have to try our best to achieve something. No, it doesn't. God never gave you. But there is a positivity in believing God, I think.
Ma'am, 1 liter milk, ma'am. My questions.
This sort of questions asked, here.
I want straight answer. You speak half an hour, I'll listen, but I wait for my answer. Will you purchase? Will you purchase?
Gita also God said you have to hard work to achieve something in their life.
I agree, ma'am. I agree, ma'am. Deepti, ma'am, I agree. But my question is simple. Whether you will purchase 1 liter of milk, or will you pray to God for an hour for 1 liter of milk?
No, I never pray to God for.
You will go and purchase. You will go and purchase 1 liter of milk.
Even I never go pray to God for the money to purchase that milk. I never pray.
So you will purchase milk, correct?
Yeah.
All right. Kabir.
Yes, sir.
You will never purchase, or you will purchase?
I will purchase, sir.
Okay.
If I have the money, I purchase. Otherwise, I have to pray, sir.
Which one you do? Which one you prefer? Whether you will purchase or you will pray?
I prefer to purchase, sir.
Right, good. Danny. Danny,
Yes, sir.
what will you do? Will you purchase 1 liter of milk or will you pray to God for 1 liter of milk?
I'll purchase, sir, for sure.
Okay. Sharmila ma'am?
I say, sir.
Okay, right, fine.
So one thing I want to share.
Diksha.
Actually, sir, I do believe that some energy is there in the universe which is good, which is support us. That I believe. But I have the problem with the people who make the business of all these religion things, sir. I'm from a Brahmin family. Actually, one day I was reading a katha. There was a small puja at my home, and I was reading a katha. And in that katha, it was written that if you will not do this thing, God will come and punish you. From there, I have that means what I will say, an anger that why we will terrify somebody to worship someone. Worship should come from our heart, and for this we should not terrify somebody, sir.
Okay.
That's all I want to say.
This is problem with the older people. They do like that, but it is not like that. God never frighten us. God never do like that. This is the problem with the older people. They will say like that to make us because to go in that right path. They will say God will do like that. God will not do anything. I don't think so. He will punish us. Never.
Yes, ma'am. That is the thing which makes me angry. That why other people, they means the pandit and everyone is terrifying everybody. That is the problem. I have that anger.
Shall I speak?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Shall I speak?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
Right. Deepti ma'am has not given permission. Deepti, shall I speak?
Yes, you can. No problem.
Right. See, the age of enlightenment, in connection with that only, whatever you read, whatever you hear, whatever you believe may not be true. May not be true. But we don't have that courage to try to do either research or try to search for the truth because of our conditions. And as Deepti said, 50 to 60% of people in this world, they believe that we should pray to God and God will give us whatever we deserve. If we don't deserve, then God will not give. And those 50-60%, they believe that God must be a male. Okay, God cannot be a female. 50 to 60%, that is a strong staunch belief. God must male. Okay, so to cut that idea, because of the male dominated society, they made us to believe that God means it must be a male, because male rule this world. We have seen male ruling this world, so God must be also male who could rule. How come women rule this world? You have not seen such kind of examples, so God cannot be a woman, God can be a man. Now it is up to you whether you believe or whether you don't believe, whether you pray or you don't pray. If it gives you happiness, you can continue with that, but it should not be false happiness. It should not lead into fake satisfaction. Here I will end for the Deepti because I don't want to extend so that I will not lose track of completing my part today. Now coming back to Diksha. See Diksha, to control people, religion came into force. People built this set of ideas, set of rules and regulations. They codified rules and regulations to control society, control people. And God is the one with which they can psychologically control people. In those days, in India, if we take, kings, when they were ruling India in pieces, it was very difficult for them to control people physically. So they paid a lot of money to those writers or poets, and they made them to write about the God, and the fear of God has been injected into the minds of people through their literature, so that whoever opposes the king, they are directly opposing the God. So kings were the direct descendants of God, was the belief system built by our ancient kings in our India, it was also done same by the Charles the First, Charles the Second, when they came with the doctrine of divine rights theory. So human beings are same, whether they are white, black, brown, whatever, whichever community, human are same. And in that human, in that particular age, in that particular area, there will be a few wise people, and they know how to control people psychologically. So they will come up with these kind of fear factors or fear system. They'll develop this fear system, fear, and they can easily control people. If you say something against, you will go to hell. Finish. 60% weak people, they will never question whatever is given to them, whatever is thrown at them. Others may eat luxurious food, others may spend luxurious life, but for these people, if they throw a biscuit also, they'll feel satisfied because God has given us what we deserve. We should not demand anything other than this. So it was a kind of a wise institution prepared by those people to control the weaker section people. And those who were not weak, they revolted, they rebelled, and they killed those people. It was a very long story. It was a very big history. It may not be possible for me to crack all those things in this small session, but I'll tell you one thing. If you believe in God, if you really believe in God, and if you want to pray, you worship. But if he or she, whomever you believe, if they don't give you what you wish or what you prayed, then don't hate. Okay, because you should get positive energy from the person whom you like, and if you are getting negative energy from the person whom you are like, it is wastage of your time. So it is up to you. I am not the one here to decide, because if you are a class 11 or class 12, my version would be completely different in the classrooms. I would have explained different things for the different students. As you are all adult, grown up, and your character was already formed and built, and there is no scope for you to change. Only thing is, don't get caught between these two ideas, whether to believe the science or to believe what was told to you by your parents, by the society. It is up to you to decide, but don't get in between, don't get caught in between these two ideas, because you should take a direction. You should take one side strongly and strictly and seriously, then only you can live life freely. So if you want to pray, you pray. If you don't get back, you don't worry, because you continuous prayers, a day may come, he or she will give you whatever you wish. But my point here to explain all this nonsense in this classroom, wasting your time, is not to enlighten you, but to teach you the age of enlightenment. People in those days also discussed like this, what Diksha said, what Deepthi said, what I said. So people of those age, at that age, they also had these kind of thoughts. There was a conflict between reason, there was a conflict between church ideology, and that leads to the development of the age of reason and age of enlightenment. Still you will have so many questions, still you have so many doubts, and I know perfectly one thing, that it is impossible for you to change your personality, because it was already formed. If you want to change your personality at this age, you may be 25 or 30 years, I don't know exactly, but if you want to change, you should completely break yourself and you have to rebuild, and that is very, very dangerous at this age. So don't go into that kind of stage. You just understand the age of restoration, age of enlightenment. If possible, try to understand what is actually importance for your own mind. If your mind is strong, you will never pray. If your mind is weak, it's up to you. Okay, I don't want to waste your valuable time with the discussion. You have your own ideas, you have your own reservations. That is exactly correct. In democracy, everybody should have their own opinions. But only thing which I want to conclude in this discussion is, we know what is parasitic life, correct? Diksha, you know what is parasite?
No, sir.
Parasite, like in science, no, we study parasitic plants. There will be a big tree, and that there will be creepers.
Yes,
Parasite, right? So
yes, understood.
So there are so many parasitic creatures on this planet. Like when we were children, we were also parasites, because we were dependent on our parents. Now when we start earning, we are independent, not dependent. But think about our thought. Are we really dependent on other thoughts? Are we living our life according to our own ideas? So this is a very, very big topic, very huge topic, but only I leave you here Don't get caught in between these two. If you believe in God, strongly believe whatever God has given to you, you should accept it. Then you lead a happy life, comfortable life. If you don't get a job because God has not deserved, you don't deserve, God has not given that job. So happy, there ends your agony. But if you still believe that I deserve, God has not given, so you will change from one faith to another, one religion to another, one God to another. So that will not make you happy. Okay, so let me end here. Let us go to the age of region, age of Pope. Shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
All right, fine. Deepthi, shall I continue?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Heated debate, right? It also required to make you to feel how people fought with their conflicting ideas in the age of enlightenment. So it was divided into two equal halves. 1700 to 1745 is known as age of Pope, or it is also the Augustan age because the King Augustine ruled, and it is also known as neoclassical age. Classical age means old age. What is neoclassical? The revival of classical style or treatment in art, literature, architecture or music. So the neoclassical age means it is a revival, rebringing of the classical style or the classical treatment in art or literature, architecture or music. The earlier part of the 18th century or the Augustan age in English literature is called age of Pope because Alexander Pope is a prominent figure of this age because Pope was the dominating figure in that period. The English writers of this age limited the classical Roman writers who were writing during the reigns of King Augustus. So this is the information about the age of Pope, and age of Pope is also filled with lot of reasoning, and it becomes very strong when in the age of sensibility, age of Johnson and the age of transition or the age of pre-romantic period. When people have this kind of conflicts and when people discuss like what we discuss in the classroom, there comes with new ideas, revolutionary ideas in the society of English or England. So 1745 to 1798 till the beginning of the romantic period is known as age of sensibility or age of Johnson because Johnson was a literary dictator of that particular age. It is also known as age of transition, like we discussed now, whether to believe in God or not to believe. We are all, our generation is actually, sorry, I want to tell you, we are all in transition period. Okay, again taking contemporary issue, we are all in transition period. Okay, if you really don't understand what is transition period, I'll tell you. Just give me 2 minutes so that you'll get connected to the idea what is actually age of enlightenment. Danny, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. For a woman, for a girl, what is most important in life? Is it job or getting married to a nice guy?
Of course, getting job is more important, sir.
So which is less important?
The other thing, comparing both, getting job and being stable is the first and foremost thing, and second only comes the marriage part, sir.
So you lost faith in marriage?
According to me, it is like that. No, no, I didn't lose faith. No, nothing like that. But I always believe everyone should be stable in life. Like all the boys or the men, they're always stable. They'll find some job in some or the other way, and they become stable. So like that, I think I believe all girls should also be like that. That's also. Then
So
after that,
men are not able to provide stability in the lives of women.
of course, men are also able to provide, but I think they can contribute equal contribution of both men and women. That's what I think.
Okay, right, fine. So not only Danny, there are many millions of women who wants to work, who wants to earn. Correct? They give second priority to marriage. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now ask the same question to your mother. Ask the same question to your mother. What is the
opposite
priority of your
reply will
mother?
come. So, get married first.
Opposite reply will come, sir.
Oh, Danny?
Exact opposite reply will come.
Why both were women? You are woman, she is also woman. Then why there is a difference in ideology?
Maybe generation gap, sir.
Any other point?
Uh, or maybe they were conditioned to believe so, sir. They were conditioned by their parents or whatever relatives, or according to their that times and all. They were conditioned that the first and foremost thing a woman should give importance is her husband get married, have kids, and so on. So maybe so they are conditioned like that.
That means women have faith in men in your mother's generation, and nowadays women have lost faith in present men.
Not all, but some. Maybe there are some people who have not lost faith, but they give priority to being independent, sir.
So what is independent? Getting locked for 8 hours in a job, you have to obey the orders given by so many male outside other than the husband inside. What is the great thing of working under so many men? Danny?
Uh, can you repeat once again, sir?
Previous generation women, they listened to one man, they obeyed the orders given by one man, and they lived their life. Now present generation women, when they get into job, they have to listen to the orders of so many men, whether they like it or not. They have to follow them, they have to obey them, and they have to take the orders from them. Then what is the greatness here?
So maybe in the during those their times, they had to obey only one person, like sir said, their husband, but they didn't had financial stability, so they didn't had any like what you say, they didn't even have the freedom to open up, like maybe they would not speak up against their husband. They would not have financial stability, so they will not have any word in their family. Maybe it was like that. But at least if we have a job, we have money in our hand, we have some earnings. So that time, even if we obey some orders of two or maybe many men, we still have, or we still become independent, we earn quite equal to men. So maybe that's the difference.
Okay. I know few women who are highly educated. They can easily become professors, they can easily become lecturers, but they still prefer to live like a housewife. Can you tell me why they have chosen that, Danny?
There are mixed belief kind of people, sir. Some believe that they some women, they give more importance to their family, and maybe because of all this conditioning by their mothers, aunties, everybody, they'll think that women are supposed to be inside the four walls of the house looking after the children, all the household chores, and so on. So maybe that's why some prefer to do so and suppress their abilities, so.
And at the same time, some women were very frustrated in jobs and they don't want to continue job, but they are not happy with the job, they are not happy with the colleagues, but still they are forced to continue in the job because for some thousands of rupees. So what about those women, Danny?
Maybe they have a family to support, sir. They have to look after the kids. So maybe that's why.
Okay, so why I raised this topic to make you discuss in this classroom is we are all in confusion. One second, Deepthi, let me conclude, otherwise it will again go for a lengthy debate. We are actually in the period of transition. Our generation, I am 40 years old. So our generation, if there is 30 years gap, then you will belong to the next generation. Most of us are the same generation. So our generation is a highly and most confused generation. Transition period we bought. The next generation, they are very clear. My kids, my children, they are very clear. Our parents, they were very clear what kind of life they want to live. And our next generation children, they are very clear about their life. What they want to do, they will do it. They will not listen to the parents. But our generation is a highly confused generation. We thought something, we act some other way. We believe something, we practice some other thing. Because we are in the transition period. Not men, not women. It is for each and everybody in this generation. We are having a lot of confusion because we are in the age of transition. Whether we have to obey the religion or to obey the science. It was a big doubt. Which one is right, which one is wrong? Deepthi.
No, I just telling that tell them to resign. We are waiting here at least to.
But they have lost faith in marriage also, Deepti. So they don't have faith in men. So they have to survive. So they are standing for their children. They are working for their children and for themselves. But they are not happy. Highly
I thought they
educated.
are
Highly educated people. I'm not talking about teachers. I know so many professors. They are of my age. So they are having this kind of miserable life. Though they are PhDs. Though they are in universities. But they are not happy. Tell me. Dipti?
don't know.
Problem, uh,
Diksha.
may I say?
Yes, Diksha.
So the problem is when we see somebody, suppose one of my friend got divorced, okay, and that belief I will make that all men are bad and marriage never lasts long. So when I will keep thinking, I'll keep repeating this thought in my mind. So same situation will come into my life and the same problem I will also face. So everything is about that beliefs of whatever we believe, it happens with us.
Shall I tell you one naked fact or naked truth, Diksha?
Sure, sir.
All men are bad, including me,
So in which way?
in all the ways.
So then the same thing is applicable for the women also, sir.
I don't want to comment on women, but as a male, as I have lived 40 years of life, so I know what is a man. All men are same. You can call them as a bad, you can call them as a good, but all men are same. Maybe different in shape, size, color, but all men are same. It is up to, for example, to make you understand this analogy, all lions are same, Diksha?
So by means,
Default nature, I am talking, default nature. All lions are
yes,
same.
yes, sir.
The lion which was born in America, the lion which was born in India, the lion which was born in South Africa, Australia, all are same, correct?
Yes, sir.
They want to become the king of jungle,
Yes, sir.
right? So now the ringmaster, heard about this word, ringmasters?
Yes, sir.
And they control those lions, correct? Very beautifully.
Yes, sir. Yes.
And they'll make them to dance, they will make them to do all those stunts in front of thousands of people, right? So whatever you listened or whatever you believed is also correct. I don't say that men are good, men are also same. You can call them as a good or bad, it is up to you, it is up to you. For men, there are so many men who believe that women are bad, women are evil. What my point here to tell you that when we don't have the proper and clear understanding about opposite gender, we'll get into confused, we'll confuse ourselves, we'll confuse others, and we confuse our entire life. It is because of not a single individual fault, it is because of the age. Age in the sense that the entire generation I am talking. We were also got confused, you are also got confused, all are in the state of confusion. To make you to understand this enlightenment age, to make you to understand, it is not, I'm not dragging the topic unnecessarily, to make you to understand why we are all so confused, because we are all in that age of transition. We are following the old ideals, but our spirit is different. That means in letters we are following the old ideals, but in spirit we want to become something different from the society, and we are not able to become that thing. The reason is because of fear of so many things, fear of society, fear of parents, fear of people. There are so many things which are controlling us, and those are invisible. Nobody can see what are controlling us, but those are completely invisible, but we can feel the chains, we can feel the weight of those chains which are controlling our life. And these are called actually thoughts, ideas, beliefs, values in the society. So why I'm forcing you, why I'm making you to think all these things is the transition period. What is this transition period? Shifting from one set of belief system, shifting from one ideologies to a different ideology is not so easy. If I throw you a topic here to discuss, you will discuss for hours together, but nobody can come to a conclusion. Can we come to a conclusion here if I throw a topic to you? Is it easy?
No, sir.
Because we don't know what is actual truth, we don't know what is fake, we don't know what is reality. So it will be an elaborative discussion, it may go for years together, but we can't come to a conclusion which is right for us and which is suitable for us. So my point here is to give you all this analogy, is to make you to understand how tough the period was, this age of transition, age of sensibility and age of Johnson. You think what I am discussing in the classroom, it may not come exactly in your examinations, but it will definitely help you to understand what you are. Okay, because at this age we don't share our ideas, we don't share our feelings with many, and we don't get even a platform to express our ideas, what you Deepti expressed, what Diksha expressed, what others expressed. So at least you can express what your ideas. What I mean to say, coming back to your question, men are men, women are women. Whether they are good or bad, it doesn't depend on them, it depends upon others. If you are a ringmaster, you can easily control the animal. If you are not a good ringmaster, the animal will control you. Diksha?
Yes, sir.
This may be very brutal, harsh, naked truth. All men are same, all women are same. There is by default nature. It is a ringmaster who has mastered the skills to control the lion, when to tame, when to pamper, when to rule, when to control. It is a ringmaster. So there are no good men, there are no bad men, there are no good women, there are no bad women. They are just women, they are just men. It is up to us, how do you handle or tackle. And if we try to understand, we always try to understand men and women in point of marriage only. You just remove that marriage and the sexual act and intimacy, all those things, then you will understand what is a woman, what is men in true sense. Okay, this I practiced, I have been practicing, so that's why I can see the real, what do you call, no, real people. If you just remove their gender, if you can take out these two aspects of each and every person, you will see a person as a person in your life. Then you will understand the person better than they can understand themselves. But it is very difficult. You can practice it, you can do it, and you will understand the importance of practicing this one. Okay, see a man, see a woman without their gender, you will understand better. Okay, shall we continue?
Yes, sir.
Right. Is it wastage of your time, or is it little at least supporting to your ideologies?
It's a healthy talk.
You need to have this kind of discussions at this age.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Right. Fine. Right. So the period of, so this is the age of transition. As I told you that we are also having the conflict between what is right, what is wrong, whether to believe that, whether not to believe this. So we are all also still in the age of transition. My point to tell you why I begin this debate is, our parents, my father, my mother, your father, your mother might have told you that job is not necessary to survive, not required. Only people who don't have any source of living, they only go for working under somebody. 50-60 years back, if anybody wants to go for a job in our village, they were demotivated. See, you have this much land, why you want to go and become a servant in somebody's home, in somebody's office? You have your land, you produce crop, you live like a king. That was the idea. Now our generation got struck. Getting job is the most important aspect, most important thing. Without job, without life. Now if you see the present generation means those who was 20-25 below or 20 years, are 90% of the students, they want to become entrepreneurs. They want to start the startups. They don't want to work for anybody. They want to work for themselves. So if there is changes happening or not? Earlier also they want to live their life freely, and the next generation also they want freedom. But we are caught in this job. Okay, so that is my point. Women also preferred nowadays, though when I come in contact with those women who are highly educated, but still they prefer to become housewife. They are working as a housewife. They are very happy. Okay, so you may understand what I am speaking maybe after few years. Today at this moment you may not understand why those women prefer, even after having PhDs, post graduation, all those things also they prefer to remain housewives. And men, even after having lot of qualifications also, they don't want to work on somebody and they want to have the small startup so that they can have plenty of time for themselves. Let us continue with the topic, otherwise it will be too delay for me to complete remaining topics. So 1745 to 1798 is the age of sensibility or the age of Johnson, and it is also known as the age of transition or age of pre-romantic age. This period was affected by the French Revolution 1789, the American Revolution and the Industrial Revolution. In France there was a revolution, first time in the history of human they have seen a revolution where the Louis XIV was hanged to death in public. I suppose Louis XIV, in France he was hanged to death by the public because people wanted freedom, people wanted liberty, and the rulers, the monarchy, the aristocracy become so corrupt. So first time when French people, most of us we think that French people means stylish people, very stylish, and the fashion hub of the world is located in France or Paris. Actually the reason is it is because of their modern idea. First time in this world or history of world, the French people revolted against the monarchy. Of course Oliver Cromwell beheaded Charles I, but this is general public who marched towards the fort and they pulled the king out of the palace and they hanged him to death in public. So French Revolution was a shock to the entire world, and that subsequent followed by the American Revolution and the Industrial Revolution. It brought a tremendous change in the ideology of the people. So this is about the brief introduction, but it had become so elaborative. Of course I come prepared for this kind of discussion. Maybe it might not be a kind of a different class today, but these things need to be explained so that you can understand what is this age of enlightenment. Then what is the historical background of this place? Rise of two political parties, Whigs and Tory. They are supporters of kings and they are the supporters of, Whigs are the supporters of Parliament, Tories are supporters of the king, doctrine of divine rights. And then political acts. In 1707 there was an act of union in which Scotland merged with England forming the Great Britain. So earlier when I was a child I also used to get confused, what is Great Britain? Is England is the Britain? No, it is a Scotland, Ireland and England.
So Scotland, Ireland and England, sir. Together yes. It's called Great Britain.
Great Britain. Right. So in 1707 there was an act of union in which Scotland merged with England forming the Great Britain. 1737 is a licensing act. So Parliament released or passed the licensing act, passed to censor and control theatres because the drama becomes so corrupt, so immoral, it became obscene, vulgarity, and it was promoting the rebellious attitude, and it was shown against the kings and the parliament. So they have again brought this 1737, they brought the licensing act and they started controlling the theatre. And what happened, because when they started controlling the theatre, a new form of literature came, and that is novel. And we already discussed what is novel, how many types of novels and all those things. In 1798 Ireland was included in Great Britain. So Scotland, England and Ireland are the Great Britain. And then during that age scientific revolution also took place. So what Isaac Newton discovered? How many of you are science students here?
So the law of gravity.
Law of gravity. Anybody science student here?
+2 science.
Good. So what is law of gravity, Dipti?
Earth attracts everything.
Earth attracts everything. Fine. So people before that, they used to believe that so many things which was told by the church. But when Isaac Newton discovered that Earth is a big magnet, so they have understood things in a different way. And Galileo, who propounded a theory that Earth is not the center of the universe, and sun is in the center of the universe. Of course, Galileo, according to his understanding, he said that sun is the center of the universe, the sun is in the center of the universe. It is not actually correct. Sun is not in the center of the universe, it is centered in the solar system, and our solar system is part of a galaxy called Milky Way, and our galaxy is a spiral galaxy, and our galaxy is located in the cluster of galaxies, and it is in our universe. So there are so many universes, or multi universes, or parallel universes are in this world. Now when you come across this kind of ideas, when you come across this kind of scientific facts, it will make you to, or it will force you to think in a different line. That what made people to lose belief in the church ideologies, church preachings, and the religion. And Kepler, Copernicus, John Locke. So these were the people. Of course, during Francis Bacon period only he started about importance of science, reasoning and logic, but it became so popular and so prominent in the age of sensibility, or age of Johnson, or the age of transition. So when people come across, or when they come in contact with this kind of scientific knowledge, they started questioning each and every established custom, tradition, norm or ideas in the society. Then change in religious values. Copernicus revealed that sun is in the center of the universe. Of course, sun is not the center of the universe, we knew that fact. Made people of the age to challenge the views and authority of the church. People stopped believing in magic, supernatural forces due to discoveries of laws of nature by Newton. There are so many people in India. Again, I don't want to take the discussion into different topic or in different way. There are so many people in India, especially in southern India, North India, Northeast India is, I served there, so I know people are very modern in that place. Mostly in southern part of India or northern part of India, we are most superstitious in nature. We believe so many people, we have so many babas, so many gurus, so many people, I don't know the names of the people, very famous people are there. Whatever they say, there will be millions of people, they follow them and they will do magic. I have seen so many magics, like in one of the in Tamil Nadu only, there are so many people who are maybe pastors, I suppose. What do they do? People come with some kidney diseases or liver diseases. They'll pray and they will act wild in front of the camera, and within 2 minutes the kidney disease will be healed, the heart problem will be healed. People who don't have eyes, vision, they will get vision. So many things happens. Those are all miracles. Okay, when we heard about the miracle place, they will show you all those things in the play. If you have watched, it will become big fun for you to watch. So people lost all those beliefs in those days, but still there are so many millions of people, irrespective of religion, they believe in this kind of mysticism or supernatural things. But people in this age, they have lost belief in these things, and people believed in deism. What is this? Deism. God does not interfere in the matters of human beings. God is a watcher, not doer. Deepti ma'am. Deepti, are you there?
Sir.
So what is your comment?
Yes.
Are they right?
I don't agree with you. The sense they told them is not in the sense that I said.
Right, fine. Okay, let us continue. Literary features of this age. Importance given to prose, age of prose and reason. It is also known as age of prose and reason. The reason is due to the licensing act, the drama was closed, theatres were closed, so automatically novel become popular and the prose become popular. Rise of novel resulting of licensing act of 1737. What is this licensing act of 1737? Is a defunct act of parliament in the kingdom of Great Britain and a pivotal moment in theoretical history. Its purpose was to control and censor that what was being said about the British government through theatres. Same thing what the present government is also doing. Censor board is there. It will censor what is to be shown to the public or not, but if the censor board is corrupt, they'll get lot of money and they will release those things. Okay, so no for discussion again. Then political writing become very popular. People in those days, they have political opinions and everybody was allowed to express, so they used to write so many political views and opinions. And there was a rise of clubs and coffee houses. political clubs and coffee houses become a great part of social life. When theaters were closed, or when the censor licensing act played a crucial role, so people wanted to meet somewhere to discuss their ideas. So clubs and coffee houses become very prominent, popular in that day. Political clubs and coffee houses become a great part of social life, and the very famous social, political or coffee houses clubs are Scribblers Club and Kit Kat Club. Not Kit Kat what we eat nowadays, this is the name of a club, Kit Kat Club. Remember these two clubs. Then periodical writing, that means they have magazines. In those days they too have magazines, journals, and the names of the magazines during the age of enlightenment were Examiner, Tatler, Spectator, Guardian and Rambler. And who were the chief contributors to these magazines? Jonathan Swift, Richard Steele, Joseph Addison and Samuel Johnson. So these were the people who contributed majorly to these journals or magazines. And satire was also very popular in those days. So satire means to attack on human vices and follies. Pope's Dunciad. What is this Dunciad? Is a mock heroic satire in which Alexander Pope attacks various figures in the literary world of his time. So he was very sensitive. If you say one word against him, he will write 1000 pages book against you. So don't dare to talk anything about against Alexander Pope. And by extension, the widespread decline in intellectual and moral values he believes in occurring in Great Britain and the wider European world. See, intellectual aspects comes when you have time to think and thrive and to understand what is happening around you. When you work 8 hours a day, when from morning to evening, when there is a question of your survival, forget about intellectual, you will not even think about others. Okay, so the present age is filled with all these kind of tensions, because why we are not having that, though we are all postgraduate, though you have studied so many books, but why the intellectual aspect is missing in our life, including my life, is we don't have time to think, we don't have time to contemplate on those ideas told or read in books. We don't have that much time. Morning to evening we are so busy that we don't find even time to think about ourselves. Do you think about yourself at least a few minutes?
Yes, sir.
How much time do you spend?
So every time.
You think about yourself only?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Sharmila?
Yes, sir, I do.
How much time you
Think
spend?
about myself.
How much time?
I think in the night only. In the morning, what food is going to prepare for the lunch, that's only going in my mind. In the night, going to sleep only, that time only I think about myself.
Right. Idli sambar, you have to prepare. Right, sorry, jokes apart. Fine. Deepthi, how much time you spend to think about yourself?
Not thinking about myself nowadays. I'm thinking about children, husband, wife. No.
Right. Danny?
Sir, not every time, but at least few times a day.
Okay, right. Kabir?
Yes, sir. I do sometimes, but when I do it deeply, sir. Basically, I thought. When I do, I think about the meaning of life. That what I do, what I should have done, and what I have done, what shouldn't I do forward. So these are all the things that I kept on thinking, but very less time, sir. But when I do it deeply, and that even affects my daily routine.
Right. But let me tell you, I don't think more than 2 to 3 minutes about myself. Okay. Because of course it may be a practice, you can increase time of thinking about yourself, but I may spend not more than 2-3 minutes before I start my day, not early morning, like after I take shower, I sit for 2 minutes, maximum 2-3 minutes, that what I have to do in that day and how to keep myself calm, quiet, how to face people in school, how to face students in school, how to face people in my society. So 2-3 minutes I'll plan, and how to react and how to respond to situations. Finish. 2 minutes, maybe 2 minutes, 3 minutes only I'll do. Okay. So if you do hours together, then you must be highly knowledgeable about your personality. So it's good. In the beginning stages, we'll think a lot about ourselves to find out what we are. once we understood, once we realized what we are inside, then it will take less time to think about ourselves. So I too agree, we should think about ourselves so that it will expand, it will make us to feel living. Otherwise we'll feel monotonous, we feel like a machine. No, we'll go to school, we'll teach, we'll come back, we'll work, we'll study, we'll sleep. So we lose some kind of meaning in our actions. So try to make your actions meaningful. If you can make your actions meaningful, your life will become meaningful. Okay, so why I told you all these things is intellectual. Okay, so they have much of time widespread decline in intellectual and moral values. So because of that age, because of the time, I'll tell you, if I am not criticizing you, I'll ask you one simple question. If Preeti is here, she would have answered me exact answer, but let me ask Diksha. How much time do you spend on social media?
Sir, nowhere, sir.
You don't spend?
No, sir.
You
I
don't-
don't use Facebook, Instagram, nothing, sir.
No, you took me wrong. I am asking about social media. WhatsApp also comes under social media, correct?
Oh, okay, sir. That also I don't use much, sir. Nowadays I'm being active, but sir, earlier I don't like to be on social media.
TV?
Sir?
TV?
No, sir. I don't watch TV also.
Newspaper?
No, sir. But yeah, current affairs I'm going through, sir. Really.
Right. Fine. Okay. Let us complete. But why I'm trying to tell you that the intellectual aspect of these people, it was decline in intellectual and moral values. How it happens? There are so many stories to be explained here, but I'll tell you one thing. When we don't have free time, or even though if you have free time, and if there is a ready source or ready information or ready something which is ready always, and if it attracts you, like watching TV, spending time on social media, then you don't think about yourselves. So people of those days must be occupied or preoccupied with so many other works which are not important or essential of that age. So if you also wants to develop your intellectual activity, I'll tell you one thing, it is very dangerous to follow and practice, but if you can follow, you can do anything in your life. But it is very dangerous. You want me to express that? You want me to share with you?
Yes, sir.
Others are not asking. Kabir?
Yes, sir.
You want me to tell you the secret?
Yes. Yes, sir. Please.
Danny, Sharmila? Danny?
Yes.
No, Danny has. Okay, right, fine. So I was telling one thing, if you want to become successful or if you want to do anything in your life, whatever thing if you want to do, and if you want to raise your intellectual abilities or skills or whatever you want to do, there is one method is that, but it is dangerous. The method is simple. Avoid people in life. Avoid contact of people in your life. Is it possible?
Yes, it's for me. It's possible.
Deepthi, is it possible?
Yes.
How can you avoid your husband and children, Deepthi?
Yeah, that I can.
How can you avoid people, Diksha? Diksha.
So I won't avoid. So avoid means here, if they are saying anything which I don't like, that I will listen from one ear and I will just take it out from my other ear. That's avoid. That's negligence I can do, sir.
Don't you get disturbed even for the presence of some people?
No, sir.
I
just distract myself from there.
We all do get disturbed by the presence of people in our life.
Yes, sir. In school only, I get distracted from few peoples. But at that time, what I do, I just move away from that place, sir.
But how much time it will take for you to recover, to come back into the normal state?
So 2 to 3 minutes.
But
Not more than that.
sometimes it will take hours also. Even though you come out of the place, you will be thinking about those people only, their actions only.
So to get rid of such things, so what I do, I start thinking about myself that I'm doing my favorite things, and I be at my fantasy world. So.
Right. But let me tell you, I don't want to prolong, elaborate, it's already 7:40. Let me tell you, as per the human psychology, we get more than 10,000 varieties of thoughts. Out of those 10,000 varieties of thoughts, more than 90% of thoughts we think about others only. Okay, and even those 90% of thoughts are also negative thoughts of about others only. So why do we get? Because of we are interacting with so many people on day-to-day basis. If you can limit to the number of people who are in your contact, those who are unavoidable, like for Deepthi, children, husband, unavoidable. If you can limit those people and if you reduce the human contact, everything is possible in life. Okay, that is my way of understanding. You should among good people, or you should among less number of people, because it is finally the people who can support you, who can make you or break you in your life. So let me come back to my point of intellectual aspects and all those things. Then satire was also there, and a modest proposal is written by Swift under satires. And the full title of Swift's pamphlet is a modest proposal for preventing children of poor people. You read about this. I have given information. I'll share this after completion of the class. So under literary features, we have discussed the satire, periodical writing, clubs and coffee houses, political writing, rise of novel and importance given to prose. And then one dictionary was also published. Already we discussed about this dictionary. Samuel Johnson published the first dictionary. He is known as lexicographer, and the Dictionary of English Language in 1755. So these are the features of the Age of Enlightenment, including the Age of Pope or the Augustan Age or the Neoclassical Age, and the Age of Sensibility or Age of Johnson or the Age of Transition or Age of Pre-Romantic Age. Now there are few literary figures are there or major writers are there. I will not take much time because already these were discussed in the classroom. So I will just read out once and we'll complete this part, and then we have to start the writing ability. So major writers of this period, what is the name of the period? From 1700 to 1798. What is this period? Age of Enlightenment or Age of Reason. We have major writers. Alexander Pope, he is famous and he used extensively the heroic couplet. He had written the Rape of Locke, a mock epic, the Dunciad, a criticism, epistle to Dr. Arbuthnot, an essay on criticism, and essay on man. When he had written an essay on man, he had received a lot of criticism from the fellow writers and it affected his health. Then Jonathan Swift is another writer, contemporary to Alexander Pope, and belongs to the age of Enlightenment or Age of Reason, and he is a prose writer and he is a satirist. He had written the Battle of Books, the Tale of a Tub, Gulliver's Travel, very famous, and a Modest Proposal. So if they give you these kind of questions to find out which book is not written by Jonathan Swift, then you should know what are the books written by Jonathan Swift. And then Daniel Defoe, he is a fiction writer and a political pamphlets he has released. The Shortest Way with the Dissenters, Robinson Crusoe, which is very famous, Moll Flanders, and Roxana. And then Samuel Johnson, he had written a poem on London, The Vanity of Wishes. Rasselas is a play written by him to meet the funerary expenditure of his mother. And then he had written, published the Dictionary of English Language, and he had written the Lives of Poets, and he discussed metaphysical poets in the lives of Abraham Cowley. And then we have Samuel Johnson, and then Samuel Richardson. He had written, he's a novelist, he had written Pamela, Virtue Rewarded. It is about a young girl who was, character B tried to exploit her, but finally because of her virtue, he agreed to marry. So that is the story of Pamela. And Henry Fielding has ridiculed or written a parody of Pamela as a Shamela. So Henry Fielding is also a novelist, and he had written Tom Jones and Joseph Andrews and Amelia. Okay, this is about Henry Fielding's. And then we have Oliver Goldsmith. He is a transitional poet. He also got confused whether he belongs to Romantic period or to the age of sensibility or not. He is also a transitional poet. He had written The Traveller and The Deserted Village. And one very famous play he had written, She Stoops to Conquer, play written by Oliver Goldsmith. And then we have Thomas Gray. We studied Thomas Gray long back when we are discussing elegies. So he had written an elegy written in a country churchyard. The death was discussed in this in general. Okay, and then we have the first romantic poet, or we call him as a pre-romantic poet, because he is also part of this age of transition or age of sensibility or the Enlightenment age, and he is none other than William Blake, and he is known as a pre-romantic poet. He is the one who laid the path or paved way for romantic poets, and he had written songs of innocence, songs of experience, marriage of heaven and hell. In this marriage of heaven and hell, he said that Milton had taken the devil's party. He made Satan as the hero of Paradise Lost, and he had written Vision of Daughters of Albion, and he had written a poem on Milton, a poem in 2 books, and Agresis of Innocence. So these are the major writers and their major work of arts during this age of enlightenment. It is again divided into age of Pope and age of Johnson. So this is the gap between the Renaissance or the early modern to the romantic period, so that in the next class I can start the romantic period without any kind of confusion in between. So if you have any questions, you can ask me. Otherwise, it is 7:45 from my side. I will stop sharing this and I will share the writing ability, and we will complete that also today without any delay. Any questions? Any questions? Deepthi, your children are Deepthi?
Yes, sir.
Your children are troubling you? Right, fine. I suppose I might not have enlightened you in this class. Did I enlighten you?
A lot, sir.
A lot?
Yes, sir.
No, I also thought whether I should discuss all these things or not, but I somehow picked up courage and then let me just try once and let me try to enlighten you before I get enlightenment. There was a very bad joke on enlightenment. We can lighten somebody, but enlightenment is very difficult because we were not enlightened so far. Okay, fine. Jokes apart, let us continue. Shall I start?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So
Yes.
today, this will not take much time. 5 minutes, one topic I'll complete, because these are known things, so no need for expression, all those things. Suppose you can see on screen. I'll try to, if I make it full screen, then I don't know whether I'll be visible on screen or not. Okay, fine. I'll make it full screen. Is it clearly visible now?
Yes, sir.
Right. So we have writing abilities: article writing, speech writing, debate writing, report writing. So today class will take article, speech and debate. So what is article writing? Article writing can be written with the help of 2 inputs. One is verbal input, another one is visual input. So what is verbal input? When you heard about something, based upon what you heard, if you write, then it is verbal input. And if you witness something, if you watch with your eyes, and if you realized first-hand expression or first-hand experience of what is happened, that incident in front of your eyes, then it is called visual input. And when you write an article, always you have to remember, study carefully the hints or points given. For class 12 students, they may give or they may not give. Arrange the given points, develop, organize and arrange in a logical manner. Introduce the topic first in the first few sentences. End the composition with the proper conclusion on the topic. So this is generally the body of the format of the article. Title we have to write in capital letters, and what is that person who has written that article, the name should be written under the title. And then under the body of the article, you have to divide the paragraph into 3: beginning or introduction, side headings are there, and then middle or explanation, and end or conclusion. So this is the general format of writing article. One thing you have to remember, in article writing you have to write side headings. In speech, no side headings. In debate, no side headings. Only in article we need to write the side headings in the article writing. So format, all these things are not important for you. So for example, if you take one example, computers have brought a revolution in our life to students. They offer great joy, information, excitement of creativity and discovery, as well as job opportunities in India and abroad. In fact, computer has become a necessity in day-to-day life. So all this information is given before they ask you to write a article, sorry. As Manish and Manju write a composition of 150 to 200 words showing how computers have opened a new world of discovery and opportunity for the youth today. So this is an example answer for you. Computer, an essential 8 by some name I have written. Okay, right. So now here you can see I have given this information about the title and the writer name, and then the introduction part, the explanation part, and the conclusion. You have to write the introduction here, side heading, and then explanation and conclusion. So what most important thing you have to understand in article writing is, in article you can express your ideas. You can start in the positive side of the topic and you can even go with the negative side of the topic. In article, in speech, you can discuss things in elaborate manner. You can give both the sides and both the versions of the topic. Whereas in debate, you should take a clear stand. So now next one is speech writing. So speech, to convey information orally to a large gathering of people, forcefully and convincingly, to convert the listeners to the speaker's point of view. So what is the primary purpose of giving speech is to make the audience believe what you are speaking is correct, and to turn them and to make them to feel that you are an orator or you have a lot of information, and you should convince them to follow your point of view, and to pass on a wide range of information to a wide range of audience orally, to express an opinion, share a point of view, experience or observation, etc. And then this is the format of a speech. These are not side headings. In speech, you have to begin with salutation, that means greeting of the people who are listening, are going to listen, and then introduce yourself and introduce your topic, and then you have to present the topic in a chronological sequence. As I told you, in article and speech, you can give benefits, advantages and merits of the topic first, and you can discuss even the demerits or disadvantages of the topic. Same, that means you have the liberty to discuss both the sides, to touch both the sides of the given topic and conclude. And whoever has given the speech, it should be written at the top, or sometimes you can even write at the end. So speech and article almost all both are same, only the format is different. Article, you don't introduce yourself, you don't greet people, whereas in speech you have to greet people before you begin speeching, and you have to end speech also by saying thanks to listening to your boring speech. Okay, so points to remember, I'll share these things in class WhatsApp group, so that you can easily read and you can remember. And then how to begin salutation: a great good morning to honorable principal, respected teachers, and my I'm teaching you thinking that you are like a class 12 students, so don't take me wrong. A great good morning to honorable principal, respected teachers, and my dear friend. These are called stock sentences with which you have to begin the salutation. Introduction: today I stand before you to deliver a short speech on given topic. I hope you all will be very keen to listen to my speech, even though you are going to speak nonsense. And then body of the speech should contain, if it is independence topic, the discussion of the topic and important points. 6 to 7 value points you have to write under the debate. And conclusion, you should end like, I would like to conclude my speech with a quote or something, and thanks for listening to my speech patiently. So this is the way you have to write the speech. I will share all these things, and then recapitulation of speech and all. I'll share, don't worry, you can read and you can understand. So speech we completed, and then article we completed. Then what is there? Let me see. Right. Report writing is not part of you. Diksha, can you read this which I shown on screen?
So that long composition. Long composition. Number 1 point. A composition is written attempt to describe an event.
What is visible? What is visible to you now on screen?
So long composition only.
It's not Abdul Kalam?
No, sir.
Nobody?
So now it's not showing, sir.
Yes, sir. It is.
Now read.
So there is a quote said by Abdul Kalam: "If you salute your duty, you no need to salute anybody. But if you pollute your duty, you have to salute everybody."
Right. You believe?
Yes, sir.
Right, fine. Then you are a rebel.
Yes, sir. You say.
Right.
You may say so.
Right, fine. So I completed two topics. One is article and speech. I am not taking much time to present these things because these are known topics. You can easily write and you can understand. Article writing and speech writing both are meant for writing. Even speech also you have to write, and you have to teach students of class 11 and class 12 about speech writing, debate writing, article writing, report writing. Now coming to debate, what is the major difference between speech writing and debate is, in debate you are going to interact with not general public, you are going to interact with the opponents, and there will be not a general audience, there will be judges. So in debate, the major difference between speech and debate is, in debate you have to take a side. Either you have to speak in favor of the motion or against the motion. When you start the discussion, you should stick to one side of the issue or one side of the topic, and you have to continue in the same. You cannot change the version, you can't change the like positive to negative, you can't discuss merits and demerits like you discussed in the speech or in the article. And debate has a proper format. You have to greet the judges and the worthy opponents, then you have to introduce yourself and you have to introduce the topic, and you have to say whether you are going to speak in favor of the motion or against the motion. Then you have to you have to support your logic, support your idea, support your thought with lot of facts, and then you have to conclude with a question, repartee I suppose. What is that last part of that debate called? Repartee, correct? That last round, I am not getting that word. What is that last round in debate? Before concluding the topic, we leave a question for opponents. Repartee only, I suppose.
That word is not coming in my mind also,
Yeah,
sir.
I am also tired.
Few months ago, we held a debate competition in our school. But
It starts with repartee only, I suppose. I'm losing energy. It's almost all 8 o'clock. It's okay. So this is the format of a debate. You may not get questions to write debate, article and speech in examinations, but questions may come, MCQ based questions may come on debate, speech and article writing. I'll frame those questions. I'll give at least 2 to 3 hour questions from each and every topic, and you write your exam. Today I'll not share. Tomorrow morning I'll prepare the question paper, and then I'll share the question paper in the class WhatsApp group. So this is very brief. I know that I am not elaborately expressing the writing ability, because direct questions won't come in writing ability. You will be getting MCQ questions only. So I'll prepare a set of questions, and if you write answers to those questions, you will gain confidence for writing ability. So it is 7:59 from my side. 1 minute you have. If you have any questions in general or subject related, you can ask me. Any questions?
So, marriage between heaven and hell. What is this about?
It's written by William Blake.
Yes.
Okay, and he discussed about Milton's Paradise Lost, and he said that Milton took the side of Satan or devil's party, and he made Satan as the main character in the Paradise Lost. So in 18th century, Blake wrote Marriage of Heaven and Hell, and he told that Milton is in favor of devil's party, like Satan, Beelzebub and all those people. So Marriage of Heaven and Hell is written by William Blake. Right. Are you asking whether it is a poem or a play or a drama?
I don't know, sir, but I want to ask, sir.
So romantic poets, they have written poetry only.
Okay, sir.
Right. Any more questions?
so So the word is repartee only, sir.
Yes, repartee. No, when you are physically tight, your body will become slow, but when you are mentally tired, no, you will lose even simple words also, and you will commit writing mistakes of simple spellings also. That happens.
Yes, sir.
Right. Any questions from your side?
No questions, sir, from my end.
Right. Deepti?
No question.
Sharmila?
No question, sir.
Okay. So tell me, what have you understood about restoration period? Quickly, I want recapitulation within 5 minutes. Sharmila?
Sir, it is also called as neoclassical period, and it is divided into 3 or 4 types, I think. Age of dread,
Correct.
age of sensibility. Sir.
Restoration period, Sharmila.
Can't remember, sir.
Thinking about what to prepare for dinner?
Absolutely, sir.
Right.
Already time up.
Time up. Right, fine. It's okay. I can understand what you are going through, but you have to keep some time for your preparation so that you can raise your standards of living and raise your standards of your family. Okay. Any more questions, Deepti?
No, sir.
Okay. So finally, I want to say, any questions, Kabir?
No, sir.
Right. See, finally, I want to tell you, there was a heated discussion, expression of your ideas, conflict of ideas. All these things I did in this classroom because I want to make you to feel the period of enlightenment, how the people felt, how and what exactly they felt when they have a conflict between the scientific beliefs and the religious beliefs. Always these two will be there. Scientific beliefs will be there, religious beliefs will be there. Majority of people, those who can't think, those who can't contemplate, those who can't apply logic and reasoning, for them it is easy to go with the scriptures. For them it is easy to believe in the religious aspects because that is their level, that is their standard. But after getting exposure to a lot of literature, world literature, studied at universities, still if you don't understand, if we people can't understand being in the field of teaching, and if we don't promote the scientific temperament, logic and reasoning without leaving the touch of human aspects, love towards nature, love towards human character and all those things, but we should not develop prejudice in the mind of the students. Okay. See, there are so many science teachers who teach nonsense in the classrooms. There are so many teachers who teach wrong ideas, wrong opinions in the classrooms. I too know that teaching profession is not a very strong profession, but teachers can become strong in this profession. Teaching is not very strong profession, not popular, not famous, nothing will earn in this teaching profession. I too accept that. But profession may be strong, but people as individual, we are not weak. If the profession is not strong, we should become strong so that we can make the profession strong. It is not because of the title of a teacher means lazy, lethargic, boring, easy to go person. That is the standard opinion, general opinion in the public. I don't know about your place, but in southern part of India, teacher means वो कुछ काम नहीं करता है. In north, master जी मतलब कुछ नहीं पता है इसलिए master बन गया है.
Same here in eastern part also.
Okay, so the maybe profession may be weak, but individuals are not weak. So what I am trying to explain in this class is, as you all study literature, at least a minute contemplate, do self and analysis and try to find out what we are teaching to the students, whether it is right or wrong. And one thing you can, those are in the teaching profession, one thing you can do if you wish to do, whatever you practice, that only you teach. You will become the best teacher in their life. May not be best teacher for many, but best teacher for a few people, and they will remember you throughout their life. Okay, so it is very interesting class for me. From my side, I can say that it was very interesting. 2 hours, I couldn't realize how the time really passed in this class. So I don't know, what is your opinion? What about you, Kabir?
It was, I think, sir, quite new kind of class, sir, because you have heard opinion, you have given opinion. So I think there was opportunity to share, to listen to, and even it was purposefully, sir. Most importantly, it was purposefully. It was mainly to connect our class, connect to the point of our class.
Otherwise, if we try to read stories and if we try to read only from the books, it is difficult us to understand what actually it is. We may read Renaissance, we may read Age of Pope, modern, all those things, but neoclassical, classical, the words only leads a lot of confusion to me. So that's why I want to break that, and I want to make you to feel what they have felt. So that's why I did this one. Sorry to hurt your sentiments and emotions. Okay. So what is your opinion, Deepti?
Okay, nice class, sir. Nice class.
Right. See, in my class today we are not today, from 3 days we are conducting ASL, English project submission and Viva. So finally I'll ask one question. Diksha, are you there?
Yes, sir.
For every student I'll ask one question at the end of the Viva. Do you really enjoy conducting, do you really enjoy doing all the work for ASL project? Do you really enjoy it? All will say, yes sir, we really enjoyed very much, sir. It was very nice experience, because I have 10 marks in my hand. If they say, sir, we didn't enjoy, we have worst experience of conducting ASL Viva, means I will not give marks to them. But there are no marks in my hand in this class. So you can share your opinion. But I want to just break that words into sensory. That means, like, we listen so many words, but we don't really feel what those words. Age of sensibility we don't understand, age of reasoning we don't understand, enlightenment we don't understand. So I want to make you to feel what those words really mean in your life. When you discuss, when you debate, when you fight, intellectual fight, verbal fights, not physical fights, that time you'll feel whatever the heat, whatever the emotions comes out of your mind. Actually those things happened in that entire age. And don't forget, we are all in the age of transitions. We actually don't know what we need. We don't know what we want. We have a lot of confusion. So don't get lost in the confusion. At least have clarity in your mind. What you want, what you need, and what you expect. Then at least if you have that clarity, there will be less confusion in life. If you don't have that kind of a clarity, every day, every minute is a role of Hamlet we all have to play. Okay, so have clarity in life. What is most important, prioritize, and then your life will become very, very easy. That's my experience. Shall we close? Right.
Yes.
All right. So Kabir, you felt bad when I said all men are same? Only one man in our class.
Sorry, sir.
When I said that all men are same or all men are equal, do you felt bad?
So, to be honest, I do not feel bad, because I have comments after comments I have experienced. So I think being a student of postgraduate, we should have focused over that. I don't think so.
Right, good.
We should be above all, and I think of myself to be above it. So that is quite okay, sir. I accept opinion. I mean, I hear opinion. That is okay.
Right.
In individual, differences are there, and there will be.
Right, fine. I appreciate that. If anybody get time sometime, you can read this book, Men from Mars and Women from Venus. There is a very nice book about the men and women's mentality and psychology. So we'll come to know why men behave in that fashion and why women behave in that fashion. It's a general understanding about the opposite gender so that to avoid unnecessary conflict. If you know about other gender at least 60 to 70%, then you can avoid so many situations and you can avoid lot of conflict in our life. So that was my purpose. Otherwise it is my opinion, it's not actually my opinion, sorry. Somewhere I read in psychology that all men are same, all women are same. Maybe they are different in sizes and shapes, but innately by default all are same. So once you understand the opposite gender psychology, it is easy to save yourself or tame others. Okay. Okay, so shall we conclude this class? Right. Okay, so good night all of you, sleep well. Tomorrow morning around 6:30 before tomorrow only I'll share the question paper for the topics which I have covered and you can complete the exam. So Sharmila ma'am, Deepthi ma'am, Diksha ma'am and Kabir sir, please take books and start reading what I have completed now. Will you do that or will you prepare idli sambar?
Sure, sir. I mean, I'll revise.
Read well, read well. Tomorrow you'll get the question paper, you write well. Good night all of you.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
sir.